Welcome, gentlemen. We are finishing up now um, on in our defining Tanya. We're right at the end. Here, look, we've been through this whole book that I put together. And this was before AI actually wrote this. I don't do that anymore. And we're now on Tchias Amesim. Then we've got Tanya, the book Tanya, and then we've got Tshuva. So these are big. All of these topics. I'm going to talk about Tchias Amesim. What is the inyan? Like the Rambam talks about, stupid people, how they're asking, what are they gonna be wearing and all kinds of funny stuff. Yeah, but what's the concept of Tchias Mason? I don't know what it's gonna look like. I have no idea. Bichlal. And in fact, I would go further. I'd say that anything that I think it's gonna look like is for sure not what it's gonna look like. And anything anyone says about it, yeah, we have no idea. We just have no idea. And you have to that's the first things first, yeah. Which kind of is funny because we're told in the Gemara that someone who doesn't believe in Tchias Amesim isn't Zoichet Tchias Amesim. And my question is, well, what is Tchias Amesim? And this is hopefully the Inyan that I want to give out. This is the idea. So really, first thing first, we have to understand what is Misa. What does it mean to die? Can life die? Life can't die. Life is alive. It's funny because we think death is forever. Life is like for, 70 to 120 years, yeah? And then death is forever. But life doesn't die. Life is nitzchi. Always life is nitzchi. What death is a separation of life from the body. That's what death is. When the life moves on and leaves the body, now the body reverts to its original state, which was dead, which is the soil, the earth. That's where it's from. Yeah. So death is not a thing. Death is the term that we relate to when the Ruchnius leaves the Gashmius, when the when the when the life force leaves the physical body. Now the body's dead. So the body was dead before the soul came in, and the body's dead after. In fact, the body's always dead. It just gives the impression of life because the soul is with it. So now this is the point. Yeah, this is so important to understand. So what is the not prerequisite? What is death predicated on? Death is predicated on the fact that there is a soul and a body. Two things. Without that, there isn't death. If the definition of death is when the soul leaves the body, then you need the soul and you need the body. There's no way around that. So that's what happened in Gan Eden. Gan Eden was when Adam, that death came into the world when Adam disobeyed Hashem. Who is the soul of the world? Who's the neshama of the world? The Tanya says that when you're sitting in front of a great man, yeah, you're sitting across the table, both of you talking to each other, yeah. Would you ever pick your nose? I mean, he didn't say that. The Tanya didn't say that. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Let's say you need to. I'm sorry to say, you need to pick, yeah. And this great man is right at you. There's no question. But then you see he's getting a little tired, and then he does that. There's a good chance that you might quickly try and, you know, yeah. So what's shut with that? Because what you're conscious of is his consciousness, not his body. His body is a window to his consciousness. That's the moshel of the world to Hashem. Just like I see you through your body, we should see Hashem through the world. The world, although we say the world conceals Hashem, to quote Rav Hass, the ultimate revelation that there's ever been, and probably that there ever will be, was the original Tzimtzum. The original Tzimtzum was the ultimate revelation of God. Why? Because Tzimtzum is always almanas legalot. It's always so to Tzimtzum. Concealment is always for the purpose of revealing. So this world is called Oilam from Loshen Helem, Ne'elam, which means concealed. But it's through the world that you can see the Ribono Shel Olam. Just like if you weren't sitting in front of me, yeah, then I wouldn't know that you're there. Meaning your soul could be there, but your consciousness, the only way that I can see your consciousness is through your body. That is the way you see someone, through their body. You know what Hashem's kind of spiritual body is called in Kabbalah? And you have to stop freaking out when you hear this word. Zeh Ampin. Don't freak out when you hear that word. You should be very, very comfortable with those words. Zeh Ampin, Malchus, Nuk, yeah, Abba Immer, Arich, Atik. All these words you should be very comfortable with. Shvira, Keser, Partsuf, וכולי. So the body is the body of the world, so to speak. The world, so to speak. Yeah, the Tanya calls it the garments, Hashem's garments. You can call it also his body, whatever. Tanya calls it his garments. Yeah, the mitzvahs are really called his body. Yeah, the limbs of the king. But the world is garments, Hashem's garments. Just like you see, you can't look at my body without my garments, and you can't look at me without my body. Everything dissolves to the consciousness. Yeah, the consciousness is what the person is, and the consciousness has a mind, the consciousness has emotions, the consciousness has a body, the consciousness has clothes, and through all the layers, you end up seeing the consciousness. So by Chet Eitz Das, Adam Rishon created a separation between, so to speak, Hashem's body and Hashem's soul, so to speak, between the soul of the world and the body of the world. The soul of the world is Hashem, the body of the world is also Hashem, but it's his body, so to speak, his clothing, yeah? So by Adam disobeying the Ribono Shel Olam, he created that duality of body and soul. Before Adam, let me ask you, I mean, this is visible. If I was to, um, fine, Michael, look to your left. What do you see? So point the camera to your left a minute.
Sorry.
What do you see?
The street, cars.
What about your window?
Yes.
But you don't pay any attention to the window. It's fine, you can put it
No.
back.
Yeah.
You don't pay any attention to the window, but to your left is your window.
Correct.
Yeah. So when the window is transparent, now if I pick this up and say, what am I holding in front of me? You don't say water,
Glass.
you say a cup. Because the cup is visible, it's independent to the water, yeah? When something is absolutely nullified to something else, you don't see it. That's what it means. It's completely transparent to X. You don't see it. Before Chet Eitz Das, there was only transparency. The world was completely transparent. There was no duality of body and soul. There was no duality of goof and neshama. You with me? The goof was completely pure. By Adam disobeying Hashem, so to speak, whether he did that or not, depending on what level you're learning it on, yeah. When Adam disobeyed the Ribono Shel Olam, that created a opacity to Hashem's garment, to Hashem's body, so to speak. And that is what we call the beginning of the duality of soul and body. And that made death possible. Do you understand that? Is everyone understanding?
Mm, The question I want to ask is how
Yeah.
this relates to our description of Hashem, meaning you said that Hashem's soul is Hashem and his body is described as Arach Anpin.
No,
Yes?
no, 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 no. His body's not this was. Scrap that. You need that. That was not.
That because that was confusing me.
Yeah. So let go of that. It depends on what level you're talking. I made that confusing. That I even mentioned Zampin at that point. But let's leave that out.
Okay.
So you said when you nullify, when something is nullified, you don't see the thing that's nullifying. So the fact that Adam and Chava didn't nullify themselves, it created this duality.
Yes. Meaning that now there was the world and the creator. Before that, there was just the creator. You would have seen a world, but it was just like when Michael looked out of his window and he didn't tell me there was a window there. There was a world, but it was all you saw was God. There's no world here. I mean, okay, I see all this stuff, but come on. It's like, when like I'm looking at Simon now, yeah? And you say, well, what are you, you know, I mean, it doesn't work because we're on computer, but someone points to Simon and says, "Who's that?" It was like it's like the famous story that's told with the Tzemach Tzedek and the Balatanya, when the Balatanya had the Tzemach Tzedek, his grandchild, on his lap, and the Tzemach Tzedek, the Balatanya says, "Where's the Zayda?" Yeah, you know the story, and the Tzemach Tzedek grabs his beard. He says, "That's not the Zayd, that's the beard. That's the Zayd's beard. That's a beard. That's hair." And then he said, then he pulled his lapels. He said, "No, that's a jacket. That's not the Zayda." He went away, and then he slammed the door and something. He said, "Ow!" or screamed something. I can't remember. And ultimately we turned round, and the Tzemach Tzedek said, "Ah, there's the Zayda." Yeah, meaning what like where are you? What am I seeing? I'm looking at Simon, yeah, but really I'm seeing uh, glasses, I'm seeing a beard, I'm seeing his face, I'm seeing his t-shirt, whatever he's wearing, yeah. We're seeing all different parts. Like, if Chas v'shalom, I mean, um my Simon just lost a piece of his body just now, yeah. They just took out his appendix. They just extracted his appendix, yeah. He's no less Simon. It's funny that you're not. It's an important thing to think. You're no less. You're no less. Even though he's pulled a thing out of your body, and Chas v'shalom, someone loses an arm, someone loses two arms. That guy, you saw that guy in that Australian guy who's got no arms and legs. He's amazing. You should check him out. He's a really cool guy. Anyway, he's born with no arms and legs. One, he's got like kind of a flipper thing, like on his lower, but literally born with no arms and no legs. Yeah. But when you start seeing him speaking and hearing him talking and stuff, yeah, you check him out after this show. Check him out. Just write Australian guy, no arms or legs. You'll find him in a second. And he's no less. He's no less because that's not who you are. This is the word. It all dissolves. All of that stuff that you're wearing, that's the key word here. Everything that you're wearing, which includes your body. Don't forget your body is clothing to your neshama, yeah? So your soul is wearing a body and your body is wearing clothes. Everything that you wear dissolves to the one wearing it. That's what clothing is. Clothing dissolves. You could say it's transparent, but it's not. That is right. Simon, yeah?
It's a deception. It's a deception.
Well, I mean, that beged means that's beged means from boiged, which means to be a traitor. Yeah, mitzad echad, but mitzad sheni, if the garments behave themselves, so to speak, they dissolve to the one wearing the garments. You're not aware of the garments. Like when someone says to you, "What do you see in front of you?" I say, "I see Michael." Not a blue t-shirt. Yeah, Michael.
It's good because I'm not wearing a blue t-shirt.
Is it a
What's
white
between the
t-shirt?
goof?
Bad white.
Right. It's okay. Between the goof and the neshama, what's dissolving to what? Meaning because you
The
see the
goof,
goof.
the goof dissolves to the neshama. If you're behaving yourself, if you're acting like a neshama, if your goof is subservient to your neshama, then the goof dissolves to the neshama. There's still a goof there, but it's not really there. When the goof is throwing his weight around and getting his way, then the neshama's in Gullus. That's called Gullus. And that's when Gullus really began, when Adam was thrown out of Gan Eden. It was a Gullus of Shechina, because now there was a division in 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 Hashem and his name. That's the key. What we've been calling your goof, we said your goof, but that's also your emotions, it's also your intellect, it's your clothing, it's not just your goof, yeah? All of that stuff that you have collectively is called name. So there's you, and you have a name. You with me?
Mhm.
Now, when your stuff is behaving itself and is nullified to you, that's called you and your name being one.
Mhm.
That's why how do we translate the word toiv? What's the best translation for the word toiv? Don't say good.
Selfless,
Selfless,
transparent.
transparent, thank you. Transparent, yeah? So the Baal Shem Tov. Who was the Baal Shem Tov? HaKodesh. That's also important. Who was the Baal Shem Tov? He was the man who's ushering in Mashiach and the Bechin of Tchias Amesim. His name was transparent to him. He didn't get confused between who he is and what he has. Now it gets in Beverly Hills, you see it, more than anywhere else in the world. People have become confused with what they have. They think they're what they have. And not everyone in Beverly Hills, but I'm saying in Beverly Hills, it happens, yeah, where people have become confused. They don't know. They think they're what they have. And it's all over the world. I just said Beverly Hills because you're there, yeah. But they think they're what they have. That means that they are in Gullus. They would be called the Baal Shem Ra. He was the Baal Shem Tov. Yeah, but a regular secular person who's completely, the opposite of quiet mind. Yeah. A person who's the opposite of quiet mind would be called the Baal Shem Ra. Not that he's, a bad guy. He might be he might be a nice guy, he might be a very nice guy, depending on his upbringing and his social, what do they call it? Social sociography or something like that. What's the word? Social demographic, social demographic, something. There's some kind of fancy word. Anyway, the point is that a guy whose body is throwing its weight around, and the consciousness is in Gullus. That's called the Baal Shem Ra. Well, he's not really Baal Shem. He's not the Baal Shem. It doesn't make sense. He just has a Shem Ra, meaning his name has taken on its own life. Your name has to be a revelation of who you are. So that's how it was in Gan Eden before Chet Eitz Das. Hashem and his name was one. Meaning there was no not division, there was no steerer, there was no contradiction between the world and the Ribbono Shel Olam.
So I guess my body is hurting because it is in pain because it's bruised. They did surgery.
Yeah.
But the expression of the pain that is me. The pain is, it's not because the body is bruised. I'm expressing the pain in this sort of I'm discomfort because what's the flesh? What's the flesh sending? What messages? Do you know what I mean? There's something going on there.
but I hear what you're saying. I think that would take us in a different direction. Just the idea is right now, if you couldn't resist eating a bacon sandwich, yeah, if you just that would be the body acting in a contradictory way to the soul. That's what we're talking about without getting involved in pain, because that's an interesting conversation to have, like maybe another time. But because that's not necessarily that wouldn't necessarily cover the the soul. If in fact, if a person's in pain and is able to stay upbeat or to be able to accept it with simcha and know that it's whatever, then the soul is still expressing itself. So anyway, that's really death. Really, so you brought us into you brought us to the home run here. Not the home run. What do they call it? It's home stretch, final leg, whatever it is. Yeah, that is actually a level of death. When the body starts to hurt, that's a teeny bit of death. Yeah. Real death is when the soul, when if the soul, if everything was completely healthy and alive, you would be healthy. If everything was completely alive, it's when a little bit of death enters the body that the body starts to hurt. Yeah. So death is the separation of soul and body. So that's why Adam, he didn't die. The Rebbe said to him, "You will die the day you eat the fruit," but he didn't die. So what, the Rebbe was lying? No, he brought death into the world. You will die means that now there is a duality between you and your name. You're not one. You with me? So what's Tchias Amesim? That was all a hakdama to Tchias Amesim. What's Tchias Amesim? Tchias Amesim, be mechaye, give life back to the mace. Let's change those words. Those are code words. Tchias is a code word for neshama. Mesim is a code word for for goof, and I gave it away. Tchia is a code word for etzem, and for the essence, and mesim is a code word for shame, etzem and shame. So b'yomahu yeh Shem echad u'shmo echad, on the final day when he and his name will be one again, when we, you and me and all of the Yidden, and by expression of that all of the world, will be in alignment with God. That means death has gone away. We went back to that state of transparency. The world is now transparent. The world once again dissolved to the Ribbono Shel Olam. His shame became the Baal Shem Tov, so to speak. Yeah, that is what Tchias Amesim is. That's the Indian of Tchias Amesim, and that's why if a person doesn't believe in that, they're kofer the whole Torah. Because that's the whole point of reality, is to know that b'yomi Shem echad u'shmo echad, that he and his name is one, will be one. That's what we're waiting for. That's the final. That's like the final. That's the final goalpost that we're trying to get to. When him and his name is one, and this is the kunz, is that his name chose to be one. Because if he just wanted his name and him to be one, then just leave it in Gan Eden. Have other don't create the Nachash, and you're good to go. Just sit there for eternity, and everything's great. You and your name is one. But in his infinite anivus, he gave his shame. Who was he miyachid his shame with? Who was Hashem miyachid his name with? Who did he give his name to?
Us.
Avraham,
Am
Israel.
Yisrael.
And
But
neshama.
What?
That's neshama, right? Neshama is name. Shame is in the word. Shame is in neshama, right? That's it. That's the essence of what you're saying. Neshama is the shame.
Yeah, but name isn't your essence.
So what is if the shame is in the neshama? What do you know what I mean?
Shame is neshama.
Neshama
The way we're talking, look, we're talking on a low resolution here. But if you want to say neshama in this sense, I was talking about that being the actual person. In truth, it's not really what we call the actual person. But when we're talking about neshama and goof, in that sense, I was using it as in like a kind of borrowed language. Yeah. But the point is that your name is not you. Your name is what you have. In marriage, the man is the etz and the woman is the shame. That's why she takes the name of her husband.
Yeah, I understood it totally. I understood that shame is your shame is the essence of who you are.
No,
Your
no,
name.
no, 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 no.
No, because I took it the
Essence
wrong
of,
way.
the essence of who you are is nameless. That's
It's
why when you're
nameless.
actually talk, that's why when someone's sitting in front of you talking to you, they never say your name. They just keep saying you. You. What's you in Hebrew?
Ah, right. This is why Adam Rishon named the animals because he gave them. I see he labeled them. That's what I see. I understand. Yeah.
Again, that's also a big, that could go in many different directions. But the whole
Right.
Indian
Right.
of name, it's all the same Indian anyway.
Right.
Shmuel, oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Right.
Everything you described to me sounded. I don't understand the difference between Mashiach versus Tchias Amesim. It sounds like you were talking about like what you've been teaching through Tanya, that we need to be transparent, we need to be selfless, we need to nullify ourselves. It's not about our agenda, it's about his agenda. Because we're his name, if we do all of that, Hashem just comes through us. It's all him. If we nullify, then this whole world is him. And that's what
Don't say
it
none of
sounds
it. We
like.
become transparent. Let's say just transparent.
We become
Yeah.
transparent to him, and his name is known to everybody, and then we have it. That would be. Is that not Mashiach? How does it differ from Mashiach Tchias Amesim?
So okay, I don't know. Let's just quickly say that Mashiach then, if we can, because we've done all the hard work now. Mashiach is from Loshen Shemen. Yeah, Mashiach means that you anointed him. What's the inyan? What does that mean? Shemen. Why is Mashiach and Shemen the same inyan? So Mashiach is Loshen Chamesh, number 5. What's the inyan of oil? The inyan of oil, Bichlal, yeah? So oil, number 1, it floats above water, yeah? Oil is above water, yeah? Number 2, oil is the reason why you have to take your garment to the dry cleaners. Why? Because oil penetrates into the very depths of the fabric of the clothes, which is the lowest place. So oil simultaneously, paradoxically, is the highest and the lowest. That's what oil is. That's the inyan of Mashiach. The inyan of Mashiach is when there's the revelation of the highest 5th level, where in the lowest level of the world, which is exactly the same as what we just spoke about. That's why Mashiach and Tchias Amesim is all bound together. Mashiach is first, Tchias Amesim is second. The revelation, I suppose, so to say, the revelation of Tchias Amesim, or not the revelation, the Chachana. It's not really the Chachana. It's there you go. The process of Tchias Amesim is called Mashiach. Mashiach is the oil coming from the highest place to the lowest place. Once it's actually finished being in the lowest place, mamash, that's called Tchias Amesim. You with me?
Yeah. What's the 5th? I don't understand. You said the
5th level is you.
The 5th level.
The 5th
What's
level
the 5th
is
level?
you. The 5th
Why?
level is
What
you.
does that mean? What does that mean? I don't understand that.
Well, you got 5 levels, haven't you?
4 levels, four worlds.
Naran Chai. Well, you have, that's the point. The 5th level is not really, the 5th world is not called a world for sure. The 4th level is hardly called a world. Yeah. The lowest world. God, what are the names of the worlds? Everyone knows the names of the worlds. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Don't say we're in a seer. We're in all the worlds. All the worlds are not they're not places. They're dimensions that are stacked. You exist simultaneously in all worlds. Yeah. Our experience, the phenomenological world, our senses pick up things from this world. Yeah, but your emotions exist in the world of Yetzirah. kind of. Your intellect exists in the world of Bria, also kind of. And then you, so to speak, exist in the world of Atzilus, yeah? That's on a micro, on a bichlal, yeah. Hashem's actions exist in Olam Asiyah. Hashem's emotions, we call Hashem's emotions Olam Abri. It's not that his emotions live in the world of Yetzirah. It's the world of Yetzirah is his emotions. Hashem's emotions is called Olam HaYetzirah. Hashem's intellect is called Olam Habriya. And Hashem himself, so to speak, is, well, his covered is called, it's not really him. His covered, which you can't separate from him, his covered is called Atzilus. Olam Atzilus. That's, you could say that's him, but really, if you want to get really high res, yeah, that's not him. The highest level is called Ak, which is Adam Kadmon, which is not a level. Adam Kadmon is the space in which everything takes place. That whole binyan that we spoke about, the whole Kabbalistic, you know, with the there's the I mean the cove down the middle of the whole, without getting into it, the shame of the in the Kisvei, it's not looked upon as a space. It's looked upon as the middle line that goes all the way down. That then the worlds concentrically build upon. Yeah, but it's the same idea. Yeah, it's just a different way of looking at it. The Ben Ish Chai explains it on a different. There's very many ways of explaining it, but that you can't call Ak. Ak is shaykh to all oilamas. He himself is shaykh to. There's no boundary there, Bichlal. So when we're talking about the fifth level, we're talking about him, mamash. Not bichvoid, not kvoidoi. We're talking about kvoid of atzmoi. Yeah, not even mahusoi. There's kvoidoi, mahusoi, atzmoi. Yeah, his honor, mahus. I don't know how to translate mahus. Like
Essence.
Just an essence, but then what do you call etzem? Atzmusoi is also essence. There's no words in English. Mahus comes from the word ma, which means what. That's already a little bit away from who he really is. He's what. Etzem, that's him.
Would Etzem be like Pneumius?
It's more than Panemius.
Ah,
It's not, you can't describe it.
Well.
That's
what the level of oil is. Oil is the highest and the lowest. It goes above water, but it's compatible with the very in the very depths of the garment. So that's the whole Indian of Mashiach, is that a man or a movement, I don't know what exactly it'll be. According to the Rambam, it's going to be a man. Yeah, that this man will come and he will teach the world. Yeah, these ideas that we're learning, basically. Yeah, this is Torah Mashiach, what we're speaking about right now.
like blessed life ideas, possibly.
No, not at all.
Maybe it was you.
He might teach Shalom Uvracha. Blessed life is a chana for him to come. That's
good.
The job. That's maybe the job of Mashiach ben of Mashiach ben Yosef to teach blessed life. But Mashiach's going to teach selfless self. That's what Mashiach's going to teach. Yeah. That the whole Inyan is that he's going to somehow convince the world, manipulate the world, educate the world into becoming utterly receptive to the Rebbeinu Shalom. And then the whole world becomes transparent. Yeah, and we're going to use AI to do that as well. To share, we're going to re-educate all of humanity using powerful AI and robots. Yeah, and then everyone's going to be mamash on board. Yeah, we're all going to be on board. We're all going to be, whenever we sit down with each other, we're going to be saying, okay, So what can we do now to like to make how can we bring the Boimstrom into the world more? In the boardrooms of Facebook and Instagram and Tesla and Nike, no longer are they going to be talking about, how we're going to squeeze out some more dollars from our users. Yeah, that's how you call them, users. The Coca-Cola clients they call users, you know that. Yeah. They're not going to be asking that anymore. They're going to be saying, how can we bring the Rabboni Shalom into his world? That's what Mashiach's going to convince the world. He's going to teach the world. That's what Rav Mani says. He says Mashiach will be a master teacher. That's what Mashiach's going to be. And so what? That means that the world becomes transparent. That means the name, Hashem's name, becomes finally transparent to him. And he's like, oh, Baruch Hashem. Yeah. And that's the day that his name and him is one. And that's the Tchias HaMesim, meaning that the mace, the name, that is not really him, it's what he has now stopped being separate from him, and the life now flows freely into the name. And so we call that Tchias HaMesim. He calls that B'yomi Hashem Echad U'Shmai Echad. Same thing. Okay, B'ezrat Hashem. That's a big share. Next week, we're discussing the book Tanya. Should be zeicher to understand what all this really means and to see it b'poil. And again, like I keep saying over and over, yeah, it's really not about seeing all of this stuff b'poil, because right now, what we just said, there's absolutely no issue right now with us living in the world of Mashiach and Tchias HaMesim right now. All you need to do right now is ask Rabbeinu Sholem, how can I help? That's it. And you're living in the Olam HaMashiach, you're living in the Olam Tchias HaMesim, you're living in B'yomi Hashem Echad U'Shmai Echad. You are that. That's it. So it's like we're looking forward for this and for that. And you've got it here right now. Just stop getting confused with who you are. We're so convinced that we're this 80, 90 kilo of meat, yeah, that that's what we got confused with. So stop being confused by that and start realizing what it is. That's what I mean. That's it. Like, why do you want to eat healthy? Why do you want to go to the gym? Why do you want to eat healthy? Yeah. It's not so that you lose weight. It's not so that you look good. And it's not even so that you feel good. And it's not even that you'll live longer. It's so that you'll feel good and you've got energy and you'll live longer, because then you can be of more benefit to him. He's invested a lot into us. We're 50 years on, yeah? Michael today is 44, yeah? And we're Mazel Tov. And Hashem has invested a lot. Mike, you've had 44 years, yeah? Think of how much that, Simon, he's nearly 60. So, Simon's just 50. I'm sorry, but he's invested huge amounts into us. For us to just die early because we ate too much oil, yeah, that's just stupid. It's just not. Do you know what I mean? Just because you like salt a lot, and sugar's the thing that what you're going to cut short that this huge investment that he's made in you for all these years. You've picked up all of these skills, all of these contacts, all of these resources, all the stuff you got, yeah? And you're going to just die 20 years early. And he's like, it's to do it all over again with another person, It's not pasha to get where our minds are. You can only realize this when you're at our age, when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, where you realize how much you actually know, and you start to talk to kids when especially when your kids are, Mike, your kids are a little young right now, but probably not. But everyone here else, when your children are telling you how to do it in every way, that your children, my 18 and 19-year-old children, I'm now 47 and 14 weeks, yeah, and my 18 and 19-year-old child talk to me like I'm their child. Like they're telling me what to do in business, even in photography. Even when I'm taking a family picture, I'm getting told a little bit what to do, where to go, you know. Like you only realize when you're our age that how much investment has gone into you. And now you have a reason now to try and live as long as you can and as healthy as you can and you know what I'm saying? It's not for you, but and then when you got that clear, you've just entered into Olam HaMashiach, Olam Tchias HaMeisim, Olam Haba. There's no separation. You've become the Baal Shem Tov. That's what you are. The minute you just sit there and you're sitting there thinking, what do you want from me? Rabbeinu Shalom. As Avram said, Hineni, I'm here. Just tell me what you want, man. Just show me. Tell me. I want. I just. And you know what will Tucker happen? He'll show you. He'll show you. Like he'll pick you up, like he did to Moshe. And he let him see Eretz Yisrael. He will show you, mamash. And then I'll finish on this. This is a very important point. I'll finish here. Zot Hashem. I just was speaking to a Choshev lady yesterday and I'm trying to convince her actually to become like a mentor for Blessed Life to do this class so that she can give over, yeah. And I was trying to tell her how I see the Rebbeinu Shalom. I mean, Yitzi knows, also Simon knows. My people don't so much, but Yitzi and Simon for sure know the Siyata D'Shmaya that we're having with Blessed Life is just, it's really, it's just amazing, yeah. And I was saying to her, I heard it from Breslevers primarily when they try and go to Uman, and they say it a lot. And Rabbi Nachman does talk about it, and I'm sure it isn't Indian, yeah. But they talk about the idea of manias. When something's right, Hashem stops you from being able to do it to make it sweeter, which makes a lot of sense. And I've said that over for years. And just recently, I'm like, I don't believe that. I don't see that in my life. You know what I see in my life? I see in my life that when I'm doing something that's right, the Rebbeinu Shalom tears down all the walls. He throws the randomest people at me at the most amazing times that are going to help it go weiter. He shows me YouTube videos that were exactly what I needed to see. He invents AI. He invents AI for us. Yeah. Whenever you I don't believe that for it anymore. That when it's real, when it's the best thing, he makes it hard. I don't believe that. I believe that when it's real and you're doing the best thing, he starts not only pushing you from the backside, he starts moving like Rashi says in that Hashem would flatten the mountains and raise up the valleys so that we would walk through, and he killed all the serpents and the scorpions. And I believe that with my heart. And this girl said, when I said it to her, she was like, "Yeah, I don't believe that. Also, I see like when you're doing the right thing, he pushes you all the way through." So that's the that's when you say to the Rebbeinu Shalom, Hineni, I'm here for you, let me know. Not only will he reveal to you what you have to do if you ask sincerely, yeah, not from some egoistic, desire to fulfill your purpose, but just because you care about him. Yeah, he'll show you what to do, and then he'll kick you there, or push you there, or drive you there, or I don't mean in a bad way. Okay, he'll get you there quicker than you could ever imagine getting there, and in more style than you could ever imagine getting there. And that again is B'yoyim Hu Yeh Shem Echad U'Shmu Echad. Okay, B'ezrat Hashem, I'm going to daven my Chazak v'yamatz.